What's up, guys? Welcome back, and thank you for stopping by. Today's video, we're going to be talking about how Dave Ramsey saved our lives. Now, if you don't know who Dave Ramsey is one of the top voices on money, a best-selling author, radio host, and he's most famous for his book, The Total Money Makeover. Now, before we get started, I want to go over Dave Ramsey's 7 baby steps because it's really important in setting the groundwork in how he changed our lives and kind of how we followed along. And I think that will help you understand kind of where we started and where we went to and where we are at now. So Dave Ramsey, his 7 baby steps starts with baby step number 1, which is saving a $1,000 emergency fund. So with Dave Ramsey, he definitely wants everyone to get out of debt. That's his biggest push. That's what he's probably most popular and famous for, is getting out of debt. So his first baby step being saving $1,000 as an emergency fund kind of puts that little bit of security in place for you. And then from there, you'll able to reorganize your debts and then start paying off your debts one at a time. You have $1,000 in the bank, or you have $1,000 under your mattress or wherever it's at, grab that $1,000, put it in its separate savings account by itself. That's an emergency fund for emergencies only, and don't touch it unless you have an emergency where you need to utilize that money. What you then do is you're gonna go to baby step number 2, which is you are going to put all of your debts, you're gonna lay them out, you're gonna figure out what it is, what you owe, on what thing it is that you bought, or your student loans, or whatever the case may be. And however many debts that you have, you need to lay all those out one by one. Once you have all your debts figured out and you have them identified, what Dave suggests is using the snowball effect. And what he wants you to do is take the lowest amount of debt that you owe out of all of your debts. It could be $100, it could be $1,000, whatever the case may be, and you start paying all of the money that you have towards that smallest debt. So let's say that you have 5 outstanding debts. Maybe you have medical bills, you have student loans, you have a car that you owe money on, you have a couch that you financed, and just your regular credit card debt, okay? Say out of all of those, you have your lowest amount, which might be your medical bill. So what you would do is you would pay the minimum amount on all of those 5 debts, and then the bulk of your money left over, you're gonna attack that smallest debt first. Now, I know some of you are saying, well, what about the interest rate and yada, yada. And what Dave says, and I completely agree with, is this is not a mathematical process in getting out of debt. This is a mental process and a psychological process. If it was a mathematical process, you never would have been in debt in the first place, right? So you have to get your finances organized so you can then figure out how much it is that you can pay towards that debt each and every month, and then paying the minimum payments on the rest of your debts. And then what happens then is once you pay off that lowest debt first, then that's kind of a win for you. And then you take all of that money from that lowest debt, and then you place that on your next debt. And you kind of can see the snowball as it gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and eventually you'll be able to pay off your debts and hopefully become debt free. As we got completely organized and we started that first month, we could tell what it is that we brought in from our jobs and our sources of income, and we knew what it was that was going out towards our monthly bills and regular monthly costs. My first calculation after I sat down and I went through all of our monthly bills, like our regular bills, like your phone bill, your light, your gas, all those, the mortgage, I calculated that we should have an additional $1,200 left over each month. Now that includes also setting money aside for groceries, clothing, just regular spending money for the month. And the first time that I told Molly that we should have at least $1,200 to pay towards our debts each month, she didn't believe me. She was shocked. And as was I. I mean, I couldn't believe that we were spending an extra $1,200 a month and we had nothing to show for it. And it was probably just going, out to eat and just things that we were accumulating that we just didn't really need, or even if we even wanted it, who knows? So that was the real eye-opener for us initially to say, wow, we can at least pay $1,200 a month towards our bills, as when we were living paycheck to paycheck, we were paying just the minimum amounts and never really getting ahead. As it gets so addicting, as the momentum builds up and you're paying off that first loan, and then you move on to the next one and you're paying off the next loan, and you're just like, this feels so good. You just want it to keep going. And for Molly and I, we wanted every single dollar that we could scrape up to go and pay towards that debt. And we also wanted to kind of revisit our monthly bills and see, could we take that $1,200 and could we build that up even more? Are there other things in our lives that we could maybe cut out that would allow us to build an even more large amount of money that we could throw towards our debt each month, because we were just getting so excited about the progress that we were making. So we started looking through our bills and we sat down, and one of the first things that we cut out was had a monthly membership for a massage place. And I mean, we all love massages, right? But do I really need to spend $70 a month for a membership at a massage place? So we cut that out. Another thing we did is we were DirecTV customers for probably 10, 12 years. And I look back and see the amount of money that we gave them. It's sickening. But we decided to cut satellite TV out. And I don't know what we were paying at that time, maybe $120 a month for DirecTV. And so, just a quick little sit down to look at, our bills, we realized, well, right there is almost $200 a month more that we can start paying towards our debt. And, every time we got a raise or we came across extra money, whether it was your tax return or whatever the case may be, you come across some money, maybe you have a garage sale, maybe you sell off some of your things that you just want to kind of minimize your life a little bit. You can use all of that extra money, and you're going to want to pay towards that debt, because it feels so good to get those out of your lives. Trust me. You may not have a lot of things that you can, cut out of your budget or your monthly bills, but for us, those two things, like I said, was $190 a month. That's $2,280 a year. And so that's a lot of money just for massage and watching TV. And we replaced our TV with Roku at the time. And I think we paid $75 for the Roku device. And we were pretty much able to watch everything that we watched before with a one-time purchase of $75 rather than paying $120 monthly. And so that, there's things in there in your budget, there's things that you're paying for that you probably don't need, or maybe you can cut back on, or you need to cut back on, at least until the time that you can become debt-free. We sat down and we looked at our total debts out of all the loans that we had and things that we needed to pay off, and what we were able to put towards that each month. Our original assessment was it was going to take us 24 months to pay off our debt. And our total debt at the time was $52,000. And what we realized is, as we got started, we again just tried to keep building that shovel each month to make it bigger and bigger to pay that debt off. Like I said, we used every little extra dollar that we had coming in, whether it was expected or not, that we threw towards the debt. And so we were able to pay off $52,000 in 17 months. Now, we probably could have done better, but we still took some vacations, and we love to travel, and we've got 2 young kids, and we have family that lives all over the country. So, we still spent money to do those type of things where, Dave probably wouldn't have been so happy with us to do that. But, we like to live a little as well. But we were very happy to be able to pay off $52,000 in 17 months, because had we not done the program, who knows how long that would have taken us to actually pay that off. So in the end, what we realized is we were able to pay off an average of $2,200 a month. And that's out of the whole 17 months, that was the total average. Again, there's some tax return in there, garage sales, selling off little things. We didn't sell anything, huge, major. We didn't sell either one of our vehicles or our house or anything like that. But we were able to average $2,200 a month, and that's a lot of money. So whatever your amount may be, whether it's at the beginning or in the middle of your journey, it might be an extra $100 a month. Maybe it's $750 a month. Maybe it's $2,500 a month. but you have to give each dollar a purpose, and you have to be intentional with that money, because if not, it's so easy to just spend that money away and never use that money to help you get forward, and then you're back to living paycheck to paycheck and living in debt. You guys, that once you're on track and you have this money that you can pay towards your debt, and you feel like you're more in control with your money, you're gonna have a lot less emergencies. And an example for us was at the time when we were paying $1,200 a month towards our debt. Of course, my truck broke down, it needed to go to the shop, and we were handed a $1,000 bill from our mechanic. And I can tell you, before we got things organized, this would have been a major emergency for us. I mean, I would have been extremely pissed off. I would have been mad at my truck, mad at the mechanic. I would have been mad at my job and my boss because they didn't pay me enough money, and whoever the president was at the time, and anyone that wanted to talk to me, I would be more than happy to complain and push the blame towards someone else. But since at the time we were putting $1,200 a month towards our debt, we were able to write a check for the mechanic that day for the $1,000. And yeah, it's tough to, spend $1,000 on your truck, but, it's so relieving to be able just to pay that bill. And then, yeah, you only get to pay $200 towards your debt that month. It's gonna put you a little bit behind on your journey. But I can tell you that something that was gonna be a major emergency and cause stress in our lives for at least a week went to, oh man, that's a bummer. Let's write the check. We'll move on, my truck's fixed, and we still got to pay money off towards our debt. So it definitely changes your life in the way that you look at things, even minor things that before would have caused you a lot of stress. Now it's just, okay, I can handle this, write the check, and move on. Molly and I moved on to baby step 3. We fully funded our emergency fund, and again, Dave recommends 3 to 6 months of your expenses. Remember, your expenses, not your income. And for us, Molly and I, we decided to do 3 months of our expenses. That's because two things. One is we both have stable jobs right now, so we don't really see, an unexpected firing or being laid off or anything like that. Also, neither one of us would probably go more than 1 week if we got fired or laid off, lost our job for any reason. I don't think we would go more than 1 week without working, whether we were waiting tables or at a fast food restaurant. I mean, we would be doing something to create income for us. So, we thought that, 3 months of expenses would, make us feel comfortable. And I can tell you, since we've had that emergency fund in place, that's probably been 5 years, we haven't touched it. And there's definitely been some minor emergencies that's come across. But now we just find a way to pay it each month because we're more focused with our money. And so our emergency fund's still there. It'll always be there. We're not going to touch it. We use ours in a mutual fund account that we can access the money if we need to. But it's still going to grow a little bit of money, but it's really not an investment account for us. But I can tell you, once you have that, the frequency of your emergencies just drops, and you just have that comfort knowing that you have that in the bank in case something were to happen. When we moved on to baby step 4, that's 15% of your income towards your retirement. Molly and I decided that we wanted to do more than 15% towards our retirement because we feel like we started a little bit late. We weren't organized, in our early 20s, and so for us, the more that we can put away towards our retirement, the sooner that we can get to our retirement number. That way we can retire as quickly as possible, because that's kind of the goal, right? Or at least not have the ability, or have the ability to not have to go to work each and every day if you don't want to. You can focus on the things that bring you more joy, bring you income, but yet not having that 40-hour responsibility. So again, for us, it's more than 15%. I don't know exactly what our percentage is right now. We kind of increase it a little bit each year if we have the ability to do so. because we want to retire early. That's our goal. We want to be on the beach. So baby step 5, saving money towards your kids' college. We've been ramping that up as well. Both of our kids are teenagers in high school. Our son actually graduates this May, so we've been putting money away for that. And then baby step 6, paying off your mortgage. That's something that Molly and I are not following for Dave's practices and his baby steps. And for us, we don't plan to be in this house for more than probably 5 years. And we have equity in the house now, and we just would rather put that extra money right now towards our retirement, put the extra money towards our kids' college, and not really pay off the house right now, because we are eventually going to move, and we just didn't feel like that was necessary to put that money in there to pay off a loan rather than put it into investment to build that money. Remember, you'll be doing baby steps 4, 5, and 6 if you choose to, all at the same time. Saving for retirement, saving for college for kids, and paying off your mortgage if that's what you decide to do, or maybe you're saving up to purchase a home if you are currently renting. And that brings us to the final baby step, guys. Baby step number 7, which is to live and give like no one else. And this is the spot I think that we all are striving to get to, where we feel that we are finally financially free. You know, at this point, you've gone through all the baby steps, you've paid off all your debt, you are funding your retirement funds, you are saving for your kids' college, or they've completed college, and you've paid off your mortgage, and you really have no bills each and every month. So it's really a journey, and hopefully we can get to this point, all of us. And if you're not at that point, or if you're just starting, you can follow us, because we're definitely not at that point, but we soon hope to get to one day. And that brings Molly and I to where we're at now. So we actually still live paycheck to paycheck, guys. And the reason why we do that today is because now we're intentional with all of our money. We try to do the best that we can each and every month, that, you know, we get our bills paid, we don't have any debt that's over our head, and then we have that money and we're intentional with it. We put it towards investments, we put it towards our kids' college, we bought a rental property. You have that money that gives you the abilities to kind of build that nest egg and get to retirement as quickly as possible. So I would, again, recommend you 100% to buy Dave's book, The Total Money Makeover, listening to his podcast. He's on every radio channel, probably in the nation. Find him on YouTube. You can find him in so many different places. Get in there, get motivated, and let him teach you some of these principles. I know some people say that he's old school, but these old school principles really do work, and just go for it. It's gonna be hard at first, but I tell you, it's worth it 100%. So guys, if you want any help, or if you have any questions, leave a comment below, or try to get in touch with me. I'll do anything I can to help you out. I can tell you that, having someone there in your corner, it means a lot, and if I can help you out, I will 100%. So if you like the video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe. We've got many more topics that we're gonna be talking about in terms of money. We'll be talking about the decisions that Molly and I have made, some of the decisions that we plan to make, both good, bad, just the whole experience of life and money. So if you wanna follow along, we can go through this together, and I appreciate you. Take care, bye.